let's just sew whatever. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are making the Arisa crossbody bag from Kaur threads. This bag is so nice. I messed it up severely at the end, but I brought it back, I fixed it. So it's got a magnetic slip pocket here, a zipper pocket on the front, and then the inside has a zippered pocket, 2 slip pockets, card slots, a zippered coin pocket, and then a big slip pocket there. So it's got like your wallet on this side and then everything else you need over here, and then a top zipper. I ended up doing this as a drop-in liner, and I might do that if I made it again. Maybe? Nah, probably not, because I just used the cylinder arm for that part of it. It turned out incredible. I hope you will enjoy creating this with me. I do have a cutting video on it as well if you need help. Definitely check out this pattern and designer, and let's get started. Alright, we are going to get started with the Arisa crossbody bag from Kaur threads. I am making my crossbody strap just the most simple way. It's simple but effective, and just folding a 3-inch wide piece in half and top stitching. But the way instructed in the pattern is really beautiful. So if you are wanting a new way to make a crossbody strap, I definitely recommend reading it over. I don't know that you would need to piece together your fabrics, but I think if you have a directional print and you only have 45 wide, it makes sense. I am sort of testing out this vinyl. I used it on a Mav pack. It's just really beautiful. I'm enjoying it. It's got like a hint of a sparkle to it. Just a little shimmery. My machine sounds like it needs to be oiled, but like, I just oiled it. So I'm trying to go quick enough that the oil still not. Honestly, this thing probably really needs to be cleaned. It's been years. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the crossbody strap. I always love an excuse to use up the hardware that's sitting here. I picked out a hot pink thread to go with this, but it is 10 p.m. and I have filmed 4 other videos today. No, 3. Dang. So I'm like, well, I have enough bobbin. This will be just as cute. And I honestly don't regret it. It is really cute. I'm using a Tex 80 thread from Wizardry, Stitchery Crafts, geekyhardware.com. They have some of the best variegated thread combos. It's not the most incredible thread, but it is really good. I just prefer the Amon more. crossbody strap is completed. Make sure you read over the pattern for interfacing it before you get started. I just kind of willy-nilly interfaced it, and not that my pieces are wrong, they're just not as precise. But honestly, like, they're not that far off. So I am going to start with my gusset pieces because I know how I'm sewing those. And then almost everything except like one of the final top stitches is a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So keep that in mind. I am using waterproof canvas that I sell on my website for the lining, and then I'm just using this vinyl interface with Decaville Light as instructed by the pattern. And like, as always, these patterns are so incredibly detailed and like so well thought out. Every pocket has a purpose. It's handbag poetry at this point. Oh my gosh, the rainbow thread on the black and white roses is exactly what I hoped it would be. I love it so much. Okay, how about strap connector? Is that next? Yes, so for the strap connector, I'm gonna peel this down and then top stitch. It looks like 1/4 of an inch. Oh, okay. With a seam allowance of 1/8 or 1/4. So I'll just do 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to switch my stitch length to a 4.5, especially for this smaller bag. I think it'll look a lot nicer. Cutting that in half. I did stabilize these as instructed. And then I don't have a size 14mm zipper, but should be okay. Oh no, 14mm snap hook, sorry. Should be okay. And then I'm just basting along the bottom of the D-ring. Alrighty. Now we're going to move on to the front panel. So I'm going to need one of my zipper pieces. I need that zipper overlay, which mine is cut very wonkily. Not real thrilled with it, but that's on me. That's my back panel. Okay, my front panel is that larger piece. And I need the front panel, the zipper overlay, and piece H, which I should have 2 of. And I do. I did label all of my pieces, and I have the cut list in the bin so that I know what's what. I'm going to connect my lining pieces to my zipper tape first. And I do zipper face up, lining face up. Sew that together and repeat on the other side. All right, y'all, I might go recut this overlay. This bag is gonna be way too cute for the overlay to look that bad. Like, no, I'll be back. All right, it's not the same shape, but I like it. It's just that like simple square overlay that I like to do. So now I'm going to top stitch my zipper panels flat. I would love to know, do you all snip your threads as you go or kind of just clean up at the end? I'm so curious. Okay, so two and a quarter down. So I'm gonna guess this goes about 1.75 down from the top, centered. It might be more effective if it's a different color, but I still really like it. So now you can cut your zipper box out prior to sewing or after. I'll do it after. And since I'm using a contrast thread, I have to be super careful. I'm gonna call it Crafty Reporter Careful. If you guys have not checked out Amber McLean of the Crafty Reporter over here on YouTube or Instagram, please do yourself a favor. I learned so much from watching her reels and such. Ben found a toy. I'm currently home alone, so the noise freaked me out. Okay, so because I've got that Decaville light on the panel, I gotta cut from this direction, which is different for me. And just be super careful. The more I think about the shape of the bag and the contrasting fabrics, I wonder if I should have done the black flowers for the main part of the bag, but I think this is going to look really good. I am going to take my lighter. This vinyl is a little bit fuzzy. And just gently zap that edge. Don't go too crazy. If you edge coat anything, make sure you zap it as well. Okay, I'm adding double-sided tape. To the zipper panels. And make sure it's nice and centered. And then I'm going to sew around the opening. I am going super slow because the layers aren't quite even with that Decaville light being on the back panel of vinyl. Okay, lifting up my needle, pressing the zipper pull in. So cute. And this zipper pocket will get sewn shut. This is not where we turn the bag through. So I'm going to start on this side, back stitching at the top, going all the way down, needle in, pivot, pivot again, then trim the extra little bit of zipper tape, and there is our front panel, little zipper pocket, so pretty. Little pop of nope, can't see it. Okay, so that is that step. If you want to add like some matching rivets, you totally can, but you don't have to. So now we're going to move on to the back panel, and we're going to need the back top panel, back pocket panel. Back top, back pocket, piece C and D, and then piece I. And our magnetic snap. This is so fun. Like, I kind of wish there was just markings on it, but the way it comes together is really fun and lends itself to the possibility of human error and being able to fix it. So, I don't know, I really like it. So let's see. So we're gonna need piece D. Use the back pocket lining. Piece I. Oh, okay. But I didn't use that. So figure D. I want this to be the width of my pattern piece, so I'm going to find the center and mark 1 1/4 of an inch up. Or down, depending on your direction. Okay, and we're going to place our magnetic snap prongs there. That's when you know you should just probably go to bed. It doesn't say which side of the snap I should use here, so I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm using the outie side of the snap. Okay. And so now we're going to attach... Oh. Mail. Yay, I did it. Okay, align the top edge of the back pocket panel with this lining piece. Right sides together. And we're going to sew that with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Turn the panels right side out and top stitch along the edge. And your stabilizer should be like right on it. So satisfying. Okay. Turn the panel. Okay. Turn the panel so that the back pocket panel is now at the bottom. The magnetic snap. Pin and clip the bottom edge of the back top panel. So we'll line that piece up Use that 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then this piece just gets folded up and top stitched through the lining. So our seam allowance should be facing down. So this is kind of what we're looking at here. So I'm not folding that edge, I'm pressing it down. Okay. Now on the right side, mark a line 1.5 inches down from the top edge. And I'm not necessarily going to mark it. Just going to lay that in place. And the panel should be 8 1/4 tall. So if it's a little bit off, you can trim it to fit, or you could even fold it a little bit more, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna lay that, because it's like 1/4 of an inch off. Oh, I can do that. Now I'll see. Yay, perfect. Yep. And then you want to install the other side and insert magnetic snap. So what I'm doing is using my marking pen on the center of my snap and pressing it down so it makes a little mark. And now I know that's where the other side goes. This would be a kind of fun one for like an invisible magnet or a half moon magnetic lock too. Probably should have used thin magnets, but all I had on hand were the regular ones, but I don't mind. Okay, so now I can magnet that shut. Double check again the size of your panel. It's good. And we're going to baste along the sides. There it is. I was like, and we're bound to run out of bobbins soon. All right, the next step is the gusset piece. It must have been my bobbin. It sounds so much better. I haven't added a nameplate yet, so I don't necessarily want to forget that. Just that alone looks so classy. Just gonna set that on the pile so I don't forget. Okay, we're going to attach our strap connectors on the exterior. centered. And then you want to keep about 3/8 of an inch in your seam allowance. Okay. There's some kind of residue on my table, I'm sorry. Okay. So now we need lining panel 1, which is piece A, which is our front panel, essentially. And then piece F. I'm over here like, do I have a piece F? I don't know. I don't see one. What is piece F? No, piece F is a strap connector. What the F am I talking about? Oh, piece J and piece K. Great. I got those. JK. JK. Piece J, piece K, piece cake. Slip pocket trim. And then my interior pocket zipper. So like half the stuff. Okay, piece. Oh, it's picture F, not piece F. Picture F. On the wrong side of the interior zipper pocket lining. Okay. Which is piece J. Yep. Yep, 4.5 inches up. Okay. I am listening. Seven inch. Okay, I'm finding the center of the box so that I can find the center of this zipper box. Which leaves about 0.75 on the side edge. So if you wanted to just mark out 0.75 from the side edges and then measure the box from there, couldn't hurt. Oh, it says 3/4 inch in from each side, so I thought. Place the interior. Okay. This gets placed over top with 2 inches to spare from the bottom. So like this is a different method that I'm used to, but I'm enjoying it. I'm learning. I feel like I get stuck in a rut sometimes with the same methods over and over again, so it's kind of nice to learn something new. And this is a really interesting way of doing it too. She has you shorten your stitch length by a whole lot when you start sewing this box, which is smart. Oh my god, it's so tiny. And then make it smaller. Okay, so now we're going to cut that open. So what's cool is like this is now 2 different zipper pocket methods you've learned within the same pattern. That's awesome. And then this is going to be the zipper pocket that we turn the bag through. So it's really cool that like the way it's written to naturally just stay open at the bottom then. I'm going to use my seam roller to press this because this waterproof canvas is not great when ironed, especially with that PVC backing. And sometimes the seam roller doesn't quite work, but we can clip that down. So now we're going to grab our pocket, our zipper, and I cut mine, I cut it a little too close to the exact same length it needs to be. So I might not be able to do my little keep my zipper pull out of the way method as easily, but I'm gonna try. Ooh, increase that stitch length, baby. Okay, and then it says to turn the edges and top stitch, but I'm going to do my usual method of folding up both pieces at once. It's the same finished product, essentially. turn that. So now this piece of our lining is ready to go. A cute little zipper pocket there. Now some people may not like this method because there is raw edge within the lining, but I don't know who's inspecting that closely. It's not me. Oh, okay. I was like, crap, I have another piece here. There is also a slip pocket. Alright, so this just gets folded on the side that's the same width as the lining. So like, wait a minute. The side that's 10 1/4. Okay. Folded like this. And then it says sew all the way around it, which makes sense. It'll keep all those layers from shifting. And then we're going to add our slip pocket trim. I'm going to tape one side and then the other. And I will add a woven label here. I'll do "You Matter." Align the top folded edge with the center line. It doesn't look like it matters which side is which, but I'm gonna do like the finished folded edge and put the raw edge towards the bottom. Okay. And you're gonna flip the zipper pocket up and out of the way to attach our slip pocket. And you could leave this a big wide slip pocket, or you can add the center line. And then if you're adding that center line, you don't go all the way to the top, you add a rivet at the overlay. I should say one doesn't, but I might. So all the way to the top. I kind of like to do what I call the Pac-Man method, which is where I'll sew up and over, back down, And then you can add a rivet in between those lines. And I think I will. I think that'll look nice. Just make sure that your lining is completely out of the way. Now you can top stitch that into place. It's so pretty. I love it so much. I'm gonna add my nameplate before I get too far. It's getting pretty late, so I think I need to finish another day, which I'm pretty sad about. But I think I've got another hour left of this bag, and I don't know if I have another hour left of talking. Okay, make sure you don't stab through your lining pieces. Yeah, this next slip pocket looks really cool and one of my favorite parts about this pattern, but like I'm losing my voice and I don't think you want this tutorial done by Phoebe with smelly cat throat. What? Okay. But like, look how cute this zipper is. But this becomes card slots and slip pockets, and then we put it all together to create the lining panel. It's so cool. But yeah. Well, for you it will be 0 seconds that have passed, but for me, it could be a week. Could be a month. Just kidding. Easier. Alright, y'all, we are moving on to the card slot zipper pocket situation on this bag. And I'm honestly super excited. I've had some time to read over the pattern instructions a little further on this and fully comprehend what's going on. I am using waterproof canvas for this section, so I have opted to not add the stabilizer pieces. If you're using a quilting cotton for your lining, I would definitely recommend it. It's just going to add an extra level of professionalism to your bag that's going to feel so good. So we're marking as instructed within the pattern on the side edges. I'm not 1000% sure why we do that. I think I missed it within the pattern, but just being honest. So we're going to mark down. And you're going to want to mark these at once, all at once, so that it's easier to fold and top stitch them. And just be mindful of the marking pen that you're using. This silver ink can wipe away on the wrong side of this, so it's not like the smartest thing to use, but it'll work. Alright, so we've got mark A, B, C, and D. So we're good. We've got them all marked. And now you would fuse the interfacing as needed, your woven, etc. But I am going to fold okay, the 1/2 inch lines are for your interfacing. So if you're not interfacing it, I don't know that that's super necessary. So I've just laid my ruler down so I can make this mark. If you used the stabilizer, you are going to know exactly where to fold your piece because it's just naturally going to overlap that. Okay, so we're just going to repeat top stitching on those A, B, C, and D lines. How do you all feel about card slots within patterns? Do you use them? Do you not use them? Do you think they're helpful? I personally, my everyday bag right now is the Catalina from Arisa. It was the last bag that I made that I like really, I made it for myself and I love that bag so much. And I did add the card slots in it. I just, like, I'll put business cards in them and I'll put like a hotel key card or a parking card in it, like, and that's it. Like, I don't know that I've ever moved out of my wallet to move into another bag, but I feel like it's helpful for some, and you just gotta know your customer. So, okay. Last one here. Oh, this will be easier. Okay, so now we're going to measure down on the very top long piece, and this first fold gets folded up and set on top of that. And then I've got a little test tool. Where'd it go? Oh, right here. This is a card slot template from Carolina Little Stitches, and so what you can do is you can just double check that like the height of it is exactly where you'd want it to be, and it's pretty darn perfect. And so within the pattern, the next one gets placed 1/2 inch under that and kind of repeats itself. And so I'm just going to clip these in place as I know that they're good. Test the next one. That's up a little bit higher. Is it because of that? No. It looks like a good amount of distance. I wonder if I just need to fold. I can't fold it any differently. It's honestly not bad. Let's see what the next one looks like. It's pretty much the same. So I'm okay with it. That last one is perfect too, according to the template. So, I don't know. I'm sure I messed it up somewhere. No biggie. It holds cards in the end. Okay, so now we're going to top stitch those down, and you want to make sure that the whole panel is 9 inches. And it is. So, I don't know. I'm going to baste those down so that nothing shifts. Ugh, this is so pretty. Like the rainbow thread on the black and white roses is just so good. Okay. So now we're going to find the absolute center and mark that on the card slots. And I'm going to sew next to that line on either side. And I like to do just a tiny little back stitch at the tops of each of those card slots. And then I'm going to go across. Cool. Okay, so now we're gonna get pattern piece D. Nope. No, that's picture D. Coin zip pocket lining, which is piece M. Almost messed that up. Okay. So we're going to find the center this way. And this is 7 inches wide. And then 1/4 inch above that and 1/4 inch below that, we're going to mark out basically this is like a 5-inch box. You got 1 inch on either side. And we're making a 6-inch zipper box. Okay. And then this is going to get placed right sides together over top of the top edge, 1 inch from the top of the top edge from the card slots, centered. So you got 1/2 inch on either side. And you can use tape to hold it in place or clips. And we're going to make a zippered compartment. And it's just genius because you're really reducing bulk within your seam allowances using this method. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink the sides, shrink my stitch length on the sides. And then as you get further in, increase. And then shrink it back down. So little. Okay. And when you're using stitches that little, just make sure you're not back stitching too much, or you could perforate through your fabric, which is kind of the opposite of what the point of doing it the other way was. So don't do that. We're going to cut open our zippered box. And turn it so that wrong sides are together now. And your corners should sit really nice, otherwise you haven't clipped in quite enough. So you can use your iron. I'm pretending that a seam roller works for me. I honestly don't know if it does or doesn't. So now we have this tiny, tiny, tiny little zipper. So cute. And she has a really cool trick of like marking along the wrong side of the lining to make sure that it's like perfectly centered. So I think that's fun. Because my zipper for some reason doesn't extend within my seam allowances, I went ahead and used a lighter to make sure that isn't going to fray over time. I'm a little tempted to cut a new zipper. Like, it's right on the edges. I think it'll be okay. I do have a slim foot on my Juki so that I can get really close to my zippers. This is a product that I sourced, and then I sent it over to Sunny Sewing to carry, but I will also have more on my website soon. A lot of you were all like, okay, but Sunny doesn't ship internationally and I need it. And I'm like, okay, I got you. I got you. Alrighty. So now we're going to close that box. We're going to fold this on itself, lining up those bottom edges, and sew in a U shape. Just kind of grabbing this, pressing this out of the way. It's a little tricky. It's tricky to sew around, it's tricky to sew around, alright, it's tricky. And then I'm pivoting, keeping my needle down, and then I'm able to move the rest of my panel out of the way, so that's now closed off. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I kept seeing pictures of this and I'm like, it's just so cute and I want to make one. So I'm really just excited to be here. Just happy to be here. Okay, so now we're gonna grab piece something or other. I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, piece N is the lining center back panel. And that's at the top edge of the card slot panel. Because this becomes the bottom of your slip pocket. So if your fabric is directional, keep in mind it's going to get folded down like this. Yeah, I'm going to do that side. So we'll line up those edges. And then I don't think you want to top stitch that or anything. Probably just leave it as it wants to sit. So now it should be about 7 inches tall. Yep. Woo woo. And now piece O gets sewn to the bottom. And then we'll attach our side panels. And this one does get top stitched. So this is really cool. Like, I could see myself making a lot of this bag. Like, cutting it out was super quick. Putting it together has been so much fun. I'm excited to see the finished size of the bag. Okay. I may even end up switching to this one or something because I want to test out the vinyl quality as well. And the way she's designed it is so, like, the bulk is just completely out of your seam allowances. Okay, so these are now basically bookends to your pattern piece, and there will be some some overlap. I think you want to line that up with the top edge, and then you'll have the bottom that you can cut off. And this is just to help with any user error and allow you to have room for that instead of it being like so precise that you can't mess up. There's a little wiggle room. Wiggle wiggle. And now trim off the excess along the bottom. And then we'll open that up and top stitch the sides. Ooh, that would have been a good place for a woven label. So there's what that looks like. I don't know why it's so cute to me. Like, I guess because I saw pictures of this and I was like, oh, I want to make that. So you've got like this little slip pocket area here that just feels very natural and looks super cute. We've got all of our card slots here, just to give you an idea of what that looks like. It's not bad. Is that really all the cards I have sitting here? I used to literally have 8 to like test card slots with. Okay. Alright. Guess I just have business cards. Super cute. Well, they didn't seem like they looked good, but they look good. Like, the distance isn't exact on all of them, but I don't think it's bad. Like, I'm cool with it. Oh my gosh, Dorothy. Totally passed out. Can you see? Yeah. What time is it? Like 11? 10:30. Okay. Alright, final construction time. We're going to work on adding our zipper. Now Pikachu's tail is on her face. So we're turning the zipper, and you can either stitch that together. I like to just use my lighter to melt those ends together. Usually holds pretty well. So there are 2 different measurements on the lining. To attach your zipper. I'm also going to double check that these are the same height, because if they're not the same height, now's a good time. Oh my god, they're the same height. Genius. What a genius pattern. So beautiful. Okay, where was I? So you want to think about it like this. This is what your lining looks like. You're like what? So I've got them facing as they would be when I look inside a bag. The bag. So one side is going to get one measurement, and then the other side is getting the other opposite measurement. And this is where your zipper starts, and this is where your zipper starts to trail off the edge. It's really easy to see silver on black and white, I'll tell you that. Not. And the zipper is going to be face up. So we're going to start on this side. Oh man. And just base that into place like 1/8 of an inch seam allowance along the top edge. And then you're going to start to trail it off at that 1 1/4. So what you do is you leave a corner of that at the needle, and I'm pinching it down and out of the way like that at that mark. And then we're going to repeat that on the other side. And again, right sides match together. Make sure your edge of your lining side matches up. And then you can clip that top edge in place. And now you're not opening this up and top stitching it or anything, because we still have to put our lining together completely. You could also use double-sided tape to help you hold this together. And now I'm starting at the end that I need to trail off, so I'm pinching that zipper into the corner with my marking. But you don't want to create a pleat or anything. You don't want to sew it at an angle. You want it to be a very smooth, only catching the side of the tape you need to. So like I didn't fold it and sew it at a corner, kind of like we do this side. We just have the one stitch. So this is what your top zipper is going to look like. And then you open it up and you're like, oh my god, wow, look at all those pockets. This is a beautiful bag. Oh, thank you. Thanks to the designer. It's not me. Oh, throw that anywhere. Okay, so now we can work on adding our gusset, lining up our centers. And you want to leave an opening, well, we have our zipper pocket opening, but you can also leave an opening within your lining to turn through so that you don't mess up your zipper. I may as well. I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're going to sew that gusset into place. I've added snips into the corners, and I've lined up my top edges and the centers. And this is a 3/8 inch seam allowance into a 5/8 inch seam allowance. So start at 3/8, and then as you work your way down inside the bag, just slightly increase. You don't have to go too crazy with it. And then basically when you turn that curve, you're going to want to backstitch, lift up, and head over to the other curve. And this is so we have plenty of room to turn the bag through without scratching on the zipper. And we're still within that 5/8 inch seam allowance, and we're going to gradually come back up to the top to that 3/8. And then I'm only going to trim down at the curve. In the pattern, she has you do a little bit more, but I think that will be fine. Okay, so now we'll put right sides together. If you already added your zipper pull, etc., make sure you zip your zipper up and check that there is no bunching or mishaps with your zipper. And now this side will get sewn completely together. So line up your center. Line up your tops. Unzip your zipper. And if you need to clip your corners, couldn't hurt. Rude. My poor clips are so overworked. Okay. Whee. Oh, hey. Oh. Come back here. Perfect. So just like on the other side, we're going to go from a 3/8 inch into a 5/8. Sounds like a gymnastics trick. So here you can see she's going from a 3/8 to a 5/8. Executing it to the best of her ability. I'm using my screwdriver to help me work around those corners and press any puckers flat. I'm just trimming around the curve. Oh my gosh, that's my lining. Done. So I'm going to turn this right side out because I do lining right side out, exterior wrong side out. This is a good time to check your seams, make sure you've caught everything. Oh no, there's an opening, that's okay. We're supposed to have that. Make sure your zipper's unzipped. Good structure. Set that aside and we will repeat all that on our exterior. Ooh, I'm so excited. Make sure your nameplate is attached at this point and your D-rings, make sure those are attached too. If you want to, you could baste the bottom of your bag together first and then continue on. She also has some really good tips for sewing around your bag twice. I'm not gonna do that. I don't have an issue with like seeing stitches, etc. But not a bad idea. Okay. And just ever so gently make those snips. And then for the exterior, you're not going to want to grade your seam allowance. Just keep it the same. I did a little back stitch over that butterflied stitch. We'll just go around the outside, around the outside. I'm only going to trim the seam down at the curve. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this. Probably because it's been months since I wanted to make this one and I'm just now finally getting the time to do it. I have been so tired, so stressed. So many people are like, oh my god, baby number 2. No, thank you. You wouldn't see me ever again if I had another child, so sorry. I'm gonna be losing my mind. We're building on at HQ, and that's super exciting but super stressful. Just like so much happening. I've been teaching in person a lot more, which is something I wanted to do in 2020, but then COVID and baby and all that. So baby being Dorothy, the only one I have. So it's just a lot going on. And I truly love teaching, but it is so draining to like repeat the same steps over and over again. And I'm always like hyper aware of everyone in the room and like, how are you guys doing? Who needs help? So that's where these So Whatever weekends have really helped, because I got to just hang out and like chat with everybody. Nobody necessarily needed a lot of help, but we were of course there for it. But yeah, and that's not to say if I'm ever somewhere teaching and you need help, like, don't worry about asking for help. I want to help. That's what I'm here for. I'm just a teacher, just here to hang out and help. Anyway. Okay. Got that all clipped. I just love the size of this. It's so cute. I could definitely see this being a really nice bag scaled up too. But she has so many great patterns. I wish I had time to make all of them. Another one I really want to make is the Aries crossbody from Knotted Thread Co. I feel like these two pattern companies are very similar in their care that goes into instruction and like not necessarily over explaining, but like really going into detail with how things are done, can be done, just like mini classes within your sewing pattern. So cool. My face is so close to that light. It keeps freaking me out. There's like a force. It's probably just sleep. A force on my face. She has this fun technique you can do to tape open your seam allowance at the top. I am not going to do that. I'm just going to butterfly it open. Just like, look at the structure of this bag. All right, you want your zipper pulls to all be going in the same direction. So my zipper pocket is going to the back of the bag. I'm gonna set that inside. And then you wanna make sure that your zipper tail is tucked out of the way and flat. I learned the best way to make a bag with this when I made the Annette bag from Swoon. And like, you really want to feel through the layers and make sure nothing is shifted. Make sure your side seams are all lining up. Otherwise, you're going to be very sad. Like when you have a bag with a zipper panel, you've got a little more wiggle room. But like, there is no wiggle room here. Your seam allowance on that top zipper has to be perfection. And make sure it's folded down out of the way. Okay. Okay, so now we'll sew around. I think she has you turn the bag so things sit differently. I'm just gonna kind of press on the side. Make sure you don't lose your lining when you do that. Oof, just stepped right on it. Okay. As you're resituating, make sure you leave your needle in and you're feeling through your layers. You can see your lining. You're not sewing through your zipper teeth. I crunched on that one. This would be a really good time to switch over to my cylinder arm. just don't feel like it. I'm already here. It's already 11 at night. I do like the idea of the zipper being sewn down on my lining. I think that's interesting. I'm used to attaching it to like the exterior of the bag. Okay, it's the final stitch now. I'm a little worried I had some shifting. Might not be too bad. It also might be. Okay, you don't want to trim down any of that, but you do want to make sure that you caught all of your seams. And now we're going to turn the bag through the lining. We're going to go through the opening, not the zipper pocket. And you want to make sure you're grabbing the bottom of your bag through first. Don't let any of your lining come through, even if it wants to, or it's just going to make it harder for you to turn your bag. And be really careful on those seams that you've butterfly stitched open. You don't want to pull too hard and pop that open. Here we go. So we're going to reach in, press open the bag, press on all the seams. Oh, yeah, things shifted. Sad day. Let's see what it looks like when it's zipped, because that'll be the factor of, oh fuck. Honestly though, I don't know that these materials would do well if I ripped it out anyway. So I'm just gonna say it is what it is, and I'll do better next time. Because it will still zip. It will still hold what I need it to hold. So I've reached in and pulled out the lining. I'm gonna continue sewing the bottom shut. And from there we can sew our zipper pocket shut too. So we'll shove this back through, shove this into the bag. If you can see with that Decaville light just how pretty everything sits. There she was, just a wonky down the street, singing, do I rip it? Should I rip it? Should I rip it? It looks dumb. I'm sad. I don't... If I'd done a drop-in liner, I don't know that it would have been as messed up. And I feel like that could have been a drop-in liner for me. Oh, my heart. Yeah, the zipper's off by like 1/4 of an inch. That's because of the angle at which I sewed it together and like I let things get twisted. I gotta rip it. Like I can't. It's too good of a bag to let it live a life of wonkiness forever. Right? Just gonna stick this inside so I can get a feel for it. It's so pretty. Got that back magnetic slip pocket, the inside with that slip pocket, card slots, etc. You deserved better. I truly don't know if there's a place here where it isn't wonked. Because I was like, okay, I don't have to seam rip everything, but I think everything is wonked. Wonk, wonk. Yeah, like from the very beginning. And that was karma telling me I should have used my cylinder arm. Okay. Baby, let the seam rip begin. I know there's a way you can like reach in and seam rip, but I don't feel comfortable doing that because of my zipper tape. I don't want to risk putting a hole in it. And then normally I'm fine with like literally seam ripping, but I don't want to risk ripping the waterproof canvas. So just making a rip in the seams every couple of stitches so that it's not like stitch by stitch, it's like every 3. And then just make sure, that's too heavy, that you pull these out or they'll sneak through on the finished bag. This is why I don't seam rip. It takes forever. Make sure you're seam ripping from the same side so that you don't have like little threads on both sides of the bag. I am wondering, like, if I wanted to make this a drop-in, how would I do that at this point? And I feel like I could just like tape the exterior down. At the stabilizer. Maybe even clip it. That one had a stress fracture from many moons ago. Honestly, yeah. I feel like I can tape that down and stick it in and then top stitch. It might just be more secure with the 2 rows of stitching, and it's definitely the preferred method, but I'm just worried I'm gonna mess it up again. So I might try to continue on with this way, taping it down and then top stitching. The top of this bag does not have a very large seam allowance, so I used 1/4 inch wide double-sided tape, and I folded over the top edge of the lining, and then I used 1/2 inch wide double-sided tape, really long pieces, to hold the pieces together before I go to top stitch it. Okay, switched over to the cylinder arm. If you have a cylinder arm, make sure that you're holding your threads to start. I was using this as a flatbed machine for a bag, and I found it so hard to hold my starting threads, but when it's in cylinder mode, it is so much easier. I do have the thin foot on this machine. I don't know that it comes with the machine, but it is a separate purchase you can make to get that thin foot, and it's just wonderful. So I'm going to start here. I have taped most of it together, and we're just going to hope that no shifting happens. Let's start with my needle down. And just go slow to make sure I catch all those layers. Okay. I'm going to push in my D-ring connector a bit. This machine does have a hump jumper so that those little height differences are easier to maneuver over top of. I'm just kind of double checking and feeling through those layers that I'm catching my lining as I'm going around. Because otherwise, like, that's not great. And like, I go really fast on my 1181, but you really cannot go fast on this machine. The way the feet and needle move together, if you go too fast, for me, it doesn't seem to move everything cohesively like with my 1181. So making sure my seams stay lined up. I'm going over a height difference here. So I'm going to kind of hold my layers together and go slow. You can bump up the foot. And that'll help you over those spots. And I have my speed set to like 1400, so that's why it kind of like shot faster, but I can use the needle positioner motor to set it to like 900 instead of 1400, so even when I start to kind of pick up speed, it won't let me go that fast. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not sweating. I have had such bad luck with cylinder arms in the past that like, I'm sweating. One thing you definitely want to keep an eye out for is where you're resting your knee. You don't want it on your knee lift or your tension's going to be off because the foot thinks it's up, which I mean technically it is, but like you don't mean for it to be. And that is the final stitch. If you have issues with tension on yours, like you can't get your thread out, there's a little lever right here you can push to release the tension on all of your threads, and you'll be able to pull your item off your machine. Super easy. Oh, I caught my whole lining. I did it. I caught it. It's beautiful. Pulling my threads through where I can. Snipping. Okay. Okay, moment of truth. I got really scared for a second that it was just wonky again. Not wonky. Not wonky anymore. So we're going to add our zipper end hardware. Purse feet on this would be a really nice touch too. I'm going to trim it just a little bit shorter. Use a lighter, and I'm going to grab some glue as well. I like the Gutermann Creative Glue. It's pretty cool. So I'm just going to stick my glue in there and squeeze, and then kind of release up on the pressure and put the cap back on. Okay, so that is that bag all finished. It looks so nice with the drop-in lining. I'm glad I did that. It was worth the 15 minutes of ripping it and sewing it back together. I am bummed that my crossbody strap I decided not to do double-sided. It's because I had already cut my vinyl and I didn't want to waste it. But it would have been so cute to have that little pop kind of mimicked on the outside. I absolutely love the way this bag turned out. I almost forgot to sew my zipper pocket shut, so let's do that. I guess I'll hop on over to the other machine to do it because I took the thread out of this one to do it. Okay, that is completely shut. I hope you enjoyed making this bag. I hope you didn't mess it up like I messed mine up. This is the cutest size. It's got so many pocket options. I hope you will make it and tell me what you think about it. Definitely check out Kaur Threads patterns if you have not yet. There are so many incredible ones. You are sure to find something you're going to love, and I will see you all later. Bye.